there's always more to the story. Join your hosts, Dr. Eric Shaw, prosecutor Ryan Frank, writer Adrian Bonenberger, and comedian Ryan Connor as they follow up on the most recent episode of Baggage. This is Carry On.
All right, welcome to Carry On, supplemental episode to Baggage. Last episode, we had Charlee Minkin on, Judo Olympian. And already we had some questions. So one thing Charlee got into was she had a rough childhood, and she is an open book, has absolutely no filter, and she shared with us what that was. But in retrospect, after the episode was done, the three of us talked, and is there anything you'd rather not have in there? And to her credit, she does not mind it being out there, but it touched on and mentioned other individuals that did not agree to go on our podcast, were not part of the show. So out of respect for them, not knowing how they would feel, we cut out some of the details. But I think it's fair to say we can generalize it. It's a high stress home environment that she needed an outlet, and judo was that for her. So we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, in regards to Charlie's episode, I think one of the things that struck me is so amazing about her was that drive from just an early age. And I think for us average, like suburbanite family whose kid is playing like soccer, I think everyone thinks like, my kid could play college or do Olympics, but to actually meet someone that went from point A to point B was really impressive about just like the dedication and the drive and the mental stamina. And then also like the family support that was required to do that. And I think I shared the story that my daughter, they were telling us that when she was 6 years old, we had to make the decision if she wanted to do gymnastics competitively at like collegiate or Olympic level. And we're like, this is just not acceptable. Like we want her to be a well-rounded human and do all these other things. And it's just, again, very interesting to talk to someone who'd been through that experience because it was so different from, I think, our collective life experience. I know personally, I have a lot of trouble as a doctor relating to and subsequently helping the hyper-competitive athlete because I have a little bit of trouble kind of relating when I'm like, okay, you have an overuse injury, you have Osgood-Schlatter's, you have Sievers, you have something along those lines. Like, you need to take some time off. This is not going to get better. It's only going to get worse the more they do it. And they're like, I can't do that. I have this tournament. I have this and that's that. And it's like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, you need to take some time off. And so it's just a mindset that I think most of us don't have, but it is impressive. It's almost like a work of art or something where you can look at it and appreciate. But for the average person, it's like, Jesus, that's so intense.
I mean, it's an alien world to me, man. I played the peak of my athletic career was fall baseball when I was like 10. And if anybody doesn't know, fall baseball is not the main attraction. It's the kids that can't throw the ball very far and all that. That's why I wish Ryan Connor had been for that episode, because he's out of the four of us, he's certainly the most athletic. He tried out for the Mason basketball team, very good soccer player. You know what? I'm realizing something. I say nice things about him when he's not here. I gotta look at that. But anyway, he's recovering from his cancer surgery. He's cancer-free now. He's gonna be fine. And Adrian had some family obligations, some very good ones, and he is not here as well. He just got stuck with us. Yeah, I think Charlie might be the only second. And we actually had, so I swam when I was a kid. I was on a swim team, and my coach, I think the first year I swam, he was still coaching, ended up becoming, got a gold, I think several gold medals swimming in the Olympics. This would have been the probably late 80s. Actually, that same time period, I think we had two people from my hometown that were in the Olympics that year that got gold medals. But it's really, really rare.
Speaking of judo and karate, I know you and all of our buddies in college used to be really, really into karate B movies and stuff like that from like the late 90s and into 2000s. Can you tell me more about your obsession with that, and then subsequently your dream of making one of these movies?
No, we're not going to go down that road. But if you happen to be interested in that stuff, American Ninja, Ryan Connor touched on it at one point. The whole series of American Ninjas is just incredible. It's incredible that somebody thought it was a good idea and it's played seriously, which is so good. Andy Sedaris made a whole line of films such as The Dallas Connection and Guns. It's the name of the movie is just Guns. Oh my God. It has Eric Estrada in it. It is
Wow.
just quintessential late 80s karate, gratuitous violence. It's just amazing. And we love that stuff in college. And we, Ryan was into filmmaking and a couple of our friends were, and we maybe wrote some, hey, it's 20-year-olds in college, right? Writing scripts, trying to do our own movie. And it's $1 million idea. Like it would cost $1 million. I don't think it would ever make a cent, but just like, we just love those movies, man. They're just super cool. A lot of fun.
This may be too taboo and bad taste. Are these like the kind of movies like that Bruce Willis was making at the end of his career?
No, those would be, it's a really interesting genre. You can't do it anymore. I'll tell you what, MacGruber, we were actually talking about it. Both of us were at a wedding this weekend and we were trying to talk about, our group of friends ends up talking about these crappy action movies, and MacGruber tried to kind of do it, but it's obviously a comedy. It's made from an SNL skit or whatever. It's obviously a comedy, and it's tongue in cheek. But imagine if somebody made that exact same film, but serious, like serious, like try to get some quality actors. There's no jokes. It's just done seriously. It's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. It's just hard to believe it's that ridiculous.
I always love the movies where the whole movie is so bad, but you have like one or two like great actors that are just playing it so 100%. And I think the one that comes to my mind is the Masters of the Universe 80s film with Dolph Lundgren as the lead. I gotta look it up. The guy that played Skeletor is like renowned for that role. Like he played this as like 100%. He wanted to win the Oscar, just chewing the scenery as fucking Skeletor. And it's just awesome.
Yeah, that's right in line with it. That's the kind of like, someone's really trying to do something here. They're trying to do something, or they're doing something with a real budget. They got people to invest in it, and they're just going to make whatever the hell they want. And there's like no oversight. Really, I mean, one of the more famous podcasts out there, but How Did This Get Made with Paul Scheer? It is fantastic. The podcast has been around forever. It really kind of got me into listening to podcasts, that one, because what an amazing premise. You're watching a movie and you're like, who thought making this movie would be a good idea? So they look at those movies and they just, trash talk them the whole time. And it's hilarious. So check out that podcast, free plug for that.
Movies that are objectively bad, but one person did like an exceptional job of it. Or movies that should be bad and are absolutely fantastic. And in the former category, the one that I would throw out there, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, and in particular, Alan Rickman. And everybody else in that movie is objectively terrible, which is sad because all those guys, like Kevin Costner can definitely act. Morgan Freeman is like a fantastic actor, but like that movie was just objectively bad, except for Alan Rickman. And he is so spectacularly awesome in that. And I've seen every interviews with him before he passed about just like he told them that he was going to do it this way and was just chewing the scenery, doing everything he could to be over the top. And he absolutely made that movie. That movie would probably have flopped if it weren't for him. I'm not going to say that's one of my favorite movies because that's definitely not true, but that still stands out as I think something from our generation that most people saw. And outside of the soundtrack, like it's Alan Rickman's performance that really like put that out there.
What sticks out in my mind? Have you ever seen Jupiter Rising?
Yes. Yeah.
My God, what a steaming pile of shit. And Eddie Redmayne in that.
Oh man,
just commits.
Yeah, 100%.
With that voice, he's just like, I'm gonna do it. Like
yeah.
I don't know what the final product is going to be, and like that's kind of like respect. Like I didn't know him. I hadn't thought anything about him before that, but he had some acting chops. And then he did that movie. And I mean, you got that Channing Tatum is like some weird dog man that floats around. That's a wild movie. That is a wild movie.
I always want to give Channing Tatum like a pass. Like he seems like a good dude. He seems to have gotten lucky with some of his success due to like looks and stuff like that. But he just seems like a kind of genuine guy who's not an objectively good actor. But at the end of the day, like that was one where it's like, come on, man. But then again, if your agent told you that like, the Wachowski sisters are doing this new super high budget sci-fi thing, are you in or not?
Yeah. You know the people that made The Matrix? You want to be on their next thing? Yes, I want to be on their next thing.
That's like the one I always heard was that not necessarily apples to apples, but that Sean Connery turned down the role of Gandalf in the
most famous movie franchise ever. Keep going. You'll figure it out. You get it.
I hate you. In the Lord of the Rings series, he turned that down because he wasn't familiar with Peter Jackson, and he didn't necessarily want to get involved with something big again because he'd just been burned with a couple films, and he just turned it down. And God bless Ian McKellen for putting in the work and making a great movie. But those movies, if you heard again, the makers of The Matrix were making a movie, and this is your next thing, of course you're going to say yes to it. So I got to give Channing Tatum the pass.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's why God made him pretty. You can't hate him. He's a decent dude.
My favorite bit of his, even if it's a small one, is in This Is the End, where he ends up being Danny McBride's bitch, and he's in the little gimp costume. Yeah, that's pretty solid.
Yeah, I just rewatched that not too long ago.
It's a great movie.
It's super funny. I don't know if the Satan rape scene holds up. That's a little. I don't know if that's going to age well.
But Jonah Hill has his reputation has been kind of tarnished in Hollywood, so maybe it stands up better. We'll see.
Oh, really? I don't follow the Us Weekly stuff. This is now turned completely into a movie review podcast, which is fine because I want to talk about Star Wars. When you talk about people signing on to a project, right? There's a lot of unknowns, and it made people's careers. Well, with the exception of Obi-Wan Kenobi, that he's obviously well-known theater actor, who apparently regretted doing that movie. But have you seen some of the outtakes, some of the stuff that didn't make it in the final film? George Lucas has wild ideas about what should go into a movie, and I think he got overridden on. There's a scene where what are the monsters? Oh God, I'm a crappy Star Wars fan. They're on Hoth, the frozen planet. Return on The Empire Strikes Back. Luke gets captured.
The big snow beast thing.
Yeah, the snow beast thing. Oh my God, we're gonna get emails about this. But anyway, whatever those things are, part of when the Empire invades the base in the beginning of the movie, and everyone has to escape, and the Millennium Falcon has to take off real quick and all that. Part of what they filmed in the original script was those beasts have broken free and they're in there too, and they're killing stormtroopers, and it looks so gimmicky and comic. It looks so bad and so fake. And it was
they're wampas. Wampas is what they're called.
Wampas. You looked it up, didn't you?
I did.
But yeah, no, I mean, George Lucas is wow, he's the guy that made Star Wars, which is a interesting script. This is controversial. Star Wars movies. That's certainly the first Star Wars movie. Not a great film.
Lies.
No. When you think it's fun, Yeah. It created a universe. But when you think about it, think about this. Luke, right? Didn't know anything about his father. Didn't know anything about that. He's just a farm boy on a planet. In the span of, from what I can tell, about 24 hours. 24. That's how long about that movie takes place. Where his aunt and uncle are dead. He leaves the planet, the Death Star, the escape. We're going to go blow up the Death Star. He's in an X-Wing for the first time. The day before, by the end of that movie, he had never seen an X-Wing. And he destroys the Death Star.
Stop talking.
Think about
this. Shut up.
It's ridiculous.
His
entire Jedi training is a couple minutes.
You're ruining this for me.
You're saying there's some holes.
I'm frustrated because you're making me look at one of my favorite things in just a different light. I'm not happy about this. You're right. You are right. But it set the groundwork, and think of it as what do you call it? Like a novella, just like a short story sort of thing that just kind of really had the right vibe and the right feeling. It didn't need to have these extra things. That's just like a comic book or something. And it was perfect. And no one had ever seen it. No one had ever seen anything like it. And that was the kind of thing right there. It was just lightning in the bottle. Yeah. It was the right story, the right time. And Lucas took it and ran with it. And good for him.
Hey everybody, Ryan here. I'm with Susan Wendishin, Senior Director of Operations for the Dear Jack Foundation, which is a charity that helps young adults between the ages of 18 and 39 deal with a cancer diagnosis and navigate that difficult process. And the Dear Jack Foundation has an interesting origin story. So Susan, can you tell us a little bit about that?
I'd love to. So we were founded by a musician. His name is Andrew McMahon. I always say musician and all-around great human. He'd probably be very embarrassed knowing I say that. But Andrew, he was the front man for the bands Jack's Mannequin, Something Corporate, and Andrew McMahon in the Wilderness. But Andrew had cancer in his early 20s, right as he was about to embark on a nationwide tour with one of his biggest albums called Everything in Transit. He got a stem cell transplant from his sister. He came through and is doing great. He's actually, this is for him 20 years post-cancer this year. But he really realized in an era where cancer is a huge call to action health item, there's nothing out there for the young adult age range. So he started Dear Jack to bridge that gap and really support these young people in the unique way that they need help and psychosocial support.
An incredible story and a great charity. So if anyone's interested in supporting that cause, please visit the show notes or visit DearJackFoundation.org and donate now. Thank you, Susan.
Thank you.
Now, that said, speaking of lightning in the bottle, another movie, we kind of alluded to this, of like movies that should not have been successful that are fabulous. The one that stands out to me the most is the original The Predator. By all objective measures, that should have been a garbage movie. The premise is wonky. It's actually very simplistic. It's super simple. And maybe that's why it's good. And it was really just the combination of the cast dynamics with having the writer right there. The writer, what's his name? Something Black. He's the soldier in it with like the glasses that makes all the off color notes, off color jokes. But he was there to help to kind of like produce and make sure that the movie like stayed on track. But like that movie, and like Jean-Claude Van Damme was the initial Predator, and he was in like an orange rubber alien suit, and it was a disaster. And there was just so many things that it should have been terrible, and it's fantastic. I can watch that anytime. It's always entertaining. The lines are so campy, but like perfectly delivered. The action is fantastic. Like it is just a fantastic 80s movie.
Jesse Ventura. I mean, as a kid in the 80s, right? 90s, 80s,
late 80s.
It's gotta be 80s. Yeah, late 80s. Oh, you're checking all the boxes. Jesse Ventura. You got wrestler in there.
So what is the? So that's the Dual Governor movie. What is the other movie with the two of them in that? Little trivia question.
Dual Governor. Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Oh,
because he was
Running Man.
Yep.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Too easy.
Who are you talking to?
That's they're remaking that, which they should not. There's just some movies they shouldn't.
There's some shouldn't be remade. The Running Man's probably kind of,
that's not on par with The Predator, but it's also another like campy fun one that like it's entertaining. But The Predator is such a good movie, and they have never been able to rekindle that with any of the sequels or any other remakes. I think the newest one, Prey, was okay, but even then, I'm gonna say okay. None of them have been even close to the original.
Prey's pretty darn good, buddy. Prey's pretty good. Pretty darn good.
Entitled to our opinions. I am an elitist with movies, and it's okay. It's just
Predator and Aliens, I think, have done some pretty good stuff in the later ones, like the Alien Romulus.
Let's be careful. Let's be careful of that. Alien and Aliens are in my top 10 favorite movies, straight up, and they're different. Yeah, I know it's the same. I know it's the same world, but you had Ridley Scott and then James Cameron doing in their prime, and Alien has the right amount of like tension and jump scares, and they really don't show the alien that much. It's almost like Jaws, where like they don't have to. It's more about the tension building and the dynamics between the crew. And it's a horror sci-fi movie. Whereas Aliens expands on that idea and turns it into perfect action sci-fi. And it's great. And that's another one where you shouldn't care about the rest of the cast, but you do. Everyone knows all the Marines in that. There's so much like lore and canon based around that. And like all their performances were so good, from like Jason Bien and Game Over, man. Game Over. What's that actor's name? I can picture him.
Yeah. Passed away from cancer a few years ago.
Yeah, we all know. Big Love, all those. Pullman. But like that's one of those movies.
Nope. That's what I was going to say. It's not him. I was going to say that too. That's not him.
No,
he's in Big Love. What's his name? Paxton. Bill Paxton.
Damn it. I get Bill Pullman and Paxton confused all the time.
Absolutely.
They've done sci-fi movies. Bill Pullman was Independence Day and Spaceballs.
There we go. Independence Day. That is not a good film.
Yeah, I'm going to give you that one. It's fun. I mean, it's entertaining.
When it came out, And I guess I don't know if I was really into computers as much back then, or I thought it was
the
that's
hacking
weird.
scene.
Oh my god! Thank God
It was
the
so bad.
aliens used Windows or DOS 3.0, because if they didn't use DOS, we would have been screwed. That's just, oh my God, it was so dumb. And The Net with Sandra Bullock.
I don't think I saw that one. I know it is, but I didn't see it.
So the premise is they, nefarious company has convinced the U.S. government to put their software everywhere, right? But it turns out there's a secret backdoor where they can control everything. Not a terrible premise. Sandra Bullock figures it out. But you know how you get to it? You click on a tiny icon on this website in the bottom, and she's the only one that's ever found it. Yep. No password. You just click on it, you know?
Did you ever see Hackers? That was so bad.
Yeah, it's pretty bad too. All right, what about the best? What about the best karate? What's the best judo movie? That might be too specific.
God.
What's the best karate movie? Martial arts movie?
Bloodsport?
Pop. That's one of the more popular ones. That's
I call that best. That's a fun one. I mean, John, all the Van Damme movies were just so spectacularly bad. I mean, they were B films with sometimes an A budget. A good one. And now, Grant, this is commingling karate with judo, but was the Bruce Lee movie. Was that Dragon? Where it was his like biography movie. That was really good.
Enter the Dragon, maybe?
No. It was. I think it was just called Dragon. Look it up. Yeah. Dragon, the Bruce Lee story. That is an excellent movie if you ever get a chance to see that one.
I haven't seen that one.
Karate ones.
This is a deep cut. Best of the best.
Who's in that? Is that Van Damme?
Eric? No. It's Eric Roberts.
I have no idea
right?
who that is.
You know who Eric Roberts is?
No.
You'd recognize him. Eric Roberts, Chris Penn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. James Earl Jones.
Wow.
It is. Now, granted, I haven't seen it since I was probably 10, but that movie I probably watched 50 times with my brother.
Okay.
Now, I might be a little biased because it was an American karate team had to go through the montage of training sequence so they'd be ready to fight in a contest against the Koreans. My brother's Korean, I'm white dude. So maybe it hit a little bit closer home for me. I don't know, but I remember it being a really fun movie to watch. Best of the best. Who is still listening? Who's still listening at this point?
I mean, just take it back to the original Karate Kid. The first and second ones are wonderful movies. And I think what frustrates me with those is in my mind, I think that they've aged well and I still love them and I can watch them today. And the new Cobra Kai series is also fantastic, but I showed my kids the original ones and they were so bored. They're like, this is just boring. And I'm like, yeah, it's a redemption story. This poor kid, he was bullied and all this stuff. And now he ends up being the winner. Isn't that cool? And they're like, they're hard to impress.
Yeah. They're a tough crowd. I think about some of that. Like I want to oh man, I want to show my kids E.T. or
I did, or they could care less. They really didn't. And that was one of my go-tos back as a kid. They could care less about E.T.
Oh, that's interesting. When did you show? What age? What age did you show them?
7 or 8. I haven't shown my son yet, but my daughter. And that was by the time I was 5. E.T. was my go-to.
Right. That's what I remember too. I'm sure I watched that when I was very, very young.
I used to cry like a little girl when E.T. died every time. Didn't matter how many times I saw it.
I think our parents were a lot more comfortable with leaving us emotionally disturbed with movies than parents nowadays.
That was the standard back then. Movies were always, never-ending story. My mom had to take me out of that theater screaming and crying when the horse died.
Yeah.
And I was already losing it with the big wolf at the beginning. But when the horse died, that was it.
Yeah. That's God, I can't even imagine what age I would have my kids watching Neverending Story, because even E.T., I'm thinking I think that would scare the hell out of my 7-year-old. I don't think he'd want to watch that,
I always tell the story that my dad had me watch The Predator when I was about 10. And I remember explicitly my stepmother going, this is a terrible idea. And I made it all the way up to the scene where the guy got his spine ripped out and I ran out of the room screaming. And she's like, I told you this would happen.
I don't remember any movies ever giving me nightmares. I do know that the only movie our parents ever took us out of was they took us to see Gremlins because all the ads were for Gizmo. and it looked like
definitely
Gizmo
not.
was the whole movie.
Yeah.
And then as soon as the gremlins started melting people's, faces and stuff, they were like, we need to go. I think we're just gonna call this episode the movie episode.
Karate Kid.
Karate Kids was literally the title of the episode 2 carry-ons ago.
Oh. Shit. There's no way you can tie this back to Charlie at this point.
All right, this challenge accepted. This is going in. How does this relate to judo and the Olympics?
Mental gymnastics.
Well, I don't know if it's possible. Give me a second.
She's our age too. She's like, I think, a year younger than us. So
anyway, so we've gone very far afield of talking about Charlie and her stuff, and I apologize for that. I just got back from 2 weeks of trying to figure out what to do with my kids before school starts again, and I am exhausted.
Competitive judo. That's the answer.
Competitive judo is to keep my kids occupied.
Yeah, exactly.
Seriously, honestly, from that episode, I'm going to look into maybe getting my kid into judo. I like that idea. Or jiu-jitsu, I think, is probably easier to find. Because what did she say?
Yeah, it's for anybody.
Yeah, jiu-jitsu is for anybody. Judo is like you're athletes, basically. That's what she said. Yeah,
we did it. We tied it back in. It wasn't subtle. It wasn't clever. It was kind of brute force, but we brought the episode full circle.
Okay, yeah, we're talking about Charlie again. I guess we did. Oh, I think all I said was I'm tired. But yeah, that was a super fun episode with her. And that's what I love about this show. It's like I don't think people are thinking athletes necessarily for like baggage and all that, but man, the stuff that people have to go through in unusual professions and unusual career choices, I find it interesting. Those things that I find completely unrelatable. I did not have Charlie's background. I did not have her upbringing. I can't even really think about that. Like, yeah, like I said, fall ball, a little bit of track in middle school. Like, I can't imagine being just full athlete, hardcore all the time. And that's just your identity is a lot for a person. So I think let's do more of that. I'd like to find some more athletes and have their experiences. And I kind of like that, she didn't medal, like, yeah, if we got Simone Biles on the podcast, that'd be great.
No, it's like the end of Rocky 1. It was more like, it wasn't winning necessarily. It was the journey.
Right. It's a lot more interesting sometimes. Anyway, so if you know any athletes or you are one, email the podcast. We'd love to hear from them. Next episode, we got a very, very interesting guest. Another firefighter, but not in the same way that Dan was earlier this year. I'll say that. Very, very interesting, his journey, his experiences, and he's got a book he's going to share. So definitely tune in for that episode. But I think that's going to do it for this episode. Check out Ryan Connor's stuff. Like we said, couldn't be here recovering from his cancer surgery, but he would tell you to check out RyanConnorComedy.com for his upcoming tour dates and his book, The Party. And his podcast, Connor v. Cobb. Very funny. A lot more interesting. They don't talk about movies for half an hour. They actually two comedians that have jokes and professionals. So check it out, and we'll see you guys next time. Music for Baggage provided by Quincy Ledbetter. You can find his stuff at qledbetter.com. Graphics provided by Megan Weaver. You can find her at meganweaverart.com. Special thanks to our premium members for their support. You can become a premium member by clicking subscribe in your Apple Podcast app or by visiting thebaggagepodcast.com/support to sign up or to gift a membership to someone. A percentage of all proceeds go to charity. If you have any questions, comments, or a good story to share, please email us at thebaggagepodcast@gmail.com.